Welcome to the f***ing news. I'm your host, Kellerman, and here's some of the shit going on in the world around you. Tech company Meta is reportedly building a $10 billion undersea internet cable that will stretch around the world over 25,000 miles. After stating multiple times that he would not pardon his son, Hunter Biden, U.S. President Joe Biden today announced that he will be pardoning his son, Hunter Biden. Also today, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken announced a new $725 million weapons package for Ukraine. And in the country of Georgia, tens of thousands of people have been protesting for days after the parliament's decision to not join the European Union for at least 4 years. Some of the protests have gotten violent and over 100 protesters have been arrested. Follow me if you give a shit. Welcome to the f***ing news. I'm your host, Kellerman, and here's some of the shit you should probably know about. In South Korea, President Yoon Suk-yeol suddenly declared martial law in the middle of the night. People immediately started protesting, and within hours, the country's parliament had voted unanimously to overturn the declaration. Spain's Socialist Party announced plans to enact a ban on trans women participating in female sports and to remove the Q+ at the end of LGBTQ+. After France's Prime Minister Michel Barnier pushed through a budget bill without a vote, he now faces a no-confidence vote this week, which has the potential to completely upend France's government. And in Syria, Islamic rebel groups have captured multiple cities over the past few days, including the city of Aleppo, which is Syria's second largest city. Follow me if you give even a little bit of a shit. Welcome to the f***ing news. I'm your host, Kellerman, and here's some of the shit going on in the world around you. In the United States, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed on the street in New York in what appears to be a straight-up assassination. In France, the government held a no-confidence vote and ousted Prime Minister Michel Barnier, effectively collapsing their government. In South Korea, following the 6-hour martial law debacle during which President Yoon Suk-yeol tried to have his political opponents imprisoned, the defense minister has stepped down and lawmakers are calling for the president's impeachment. And I don't know how many of you are crypto people, but Bitcoin has crossed over the $100,000 milestone. Follow me if you give a shit. Welcome to the f***ing news. I'm your host, Kellerman, and here's some of the shit going on in the world that you might want to know about. Earlier this week, U.S. health insurance company Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield announced plans to enact time limits on anesthesia during operations. Now, a day after the CEO of United Health was shot in the street, they're reversing this decision. Are those two things related? I don't know. What do you think? A U.S. federal appeals court ruled in favor of upholding the law that will go into effect in January that would effectively ban TikTok in the U.S. So if you're watching this on TikTok, make sure you're following me in other places, preferably Substack. We have fun over there. In Romania, following claims of Russian interference in the recent presidential election, which right-leaning candidate Calin Georgescu won the first round of, the Constitutional Court has annulled the country's votes, restarting the whole election cycle. And shit's getting serious in Syria, or should I say Syria? Maybe I shouldn't. Islamist rebels have seized more cities and are now closing in on the third largest city of Homs. Meanwhile, Kurdish forces are reportedly taking areas in eastern Syria. Russia is advising Syrian citizens to leave the country, and due to IDF bombing, Lebanon has had to close all of its border crossings with Syria, except for the main artery from Beirut to Damascus. Follow me if you give a shit.